What's up, guys? It's Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's great to be with you on a Wednesday. Woke up this morning. It felt like fall. It reminded me of college football, of tailgating. There was a little crisp in the air. I had to put on a jacket to walk my German Shepherds this morning in Redfields. I was a happy camper, guys. I was a happy camper. Today's program is going to be a fantastic show. We have a company, an organization that is doing some fantastic things in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, Ari Lee and Sons. We're going to spotlight their evolution, their growth. They're undoubtedly a vertically integrated behemoth that is making Charlottesville and Central Virginia and the Commonwealth a better place for everybody. They're creating jobs. They're driving the economy forward. They are of the social entrepreneurship mindset where you can run a business in the black, but still leave your footprint in the community in a better place than when you first arrived. That's what we try to do here at V&V Brands at I Love CVille. 11 years into running to this business, we've been in the black with 10% growth, at least double-digit growth every year, doing it in a way where we've donated $113,000 to charity over 11 years. You can run a business strongly and positively and in the black, but also give back to the community. We're going to spotlight their growth. Dick Abidin is going to join us in a matter of moments. Same with Chris Shifflet. We'd like to thank Interstate Pest and Service Companies. We are their proud advertising agency of record. This business started in 1969 with the first generation, Mr. Wells, Mr. Robert Wells. And in 1969, he used his personal truck, sweat equity, and payphones around Charlottesville to build a company. He'd go to his first client, service them successfully, then find the closest payphone and say, second client, may I come to your home now to offer you pest control? Today, Interstate Pest and Service Companies has 4 generations of family behind it, almost 100 employees, an office on Harris by Bodo's Bagels, an office in Richmond, and an office in the Shenandoah Valley, and a Commonwealth-wide footprint. They are making our community better, just like Dr. Wagner is making our community better at Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. We watched Dr. Wagner and his team start with we're his ad agency of record, with 1 doctor and 2 practice representatives. Now 6 doctors. He purchased the Quinn Farmer Auction House and is building a chiropractic hospital that is of epic proportions. Dr. Wagner, we salute you for your commitment to chiropractic care, physical therapy, and sports medicine. Judah, you're the director. Why don't we go to the studio cam? We're going to welcome the gentleman to the show. We have Dick right here. Hello, Dick.
Hello, and thank you.
Thank you for coming. We have Chris Shifflet over here. We'll start with Dick first. Mm-hmm. Okay. Passions, hobbies, interests. Who is Dick?
So I've been in Charlottesville for 54 years.
Nice.
Okay. Wasn't born here. You know, I grew up here, went to school here, left, got my education, and came back. You know, I was part of the lacrosse community. Worked with U.S. Lacrosse. I really enjoyed, giving back to the community, to the youth sports. As my son was growing up, is now out of the house and on his own. And my passion nowadays is just finding some time to relax, spend some time out at Lake Anna.
Nice.
Where we have some property. And looking forward to continuing to do what we do at Ari Lee and Son.
50 plus years in Charlottesville?
Yes.
You've seen some change.
A lot of change.
Yeah, all for the good?
It's mostly for the good. When we first moved here, I think from where we grew up out in Woodbrook subdivision, getting into the university, there was probably 3 traffic lights. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm excited to kind of break down Charlottesville and your time here from a personal standpoint, a professional standpoint, just all the above. Why don't we welcome your colleague, Chris Shifflet, to the show. We'll start with a similar question for you, Chris. Passions, hobbies, and interests. Who is Chris Shifflet?
I'm a father of 3.
Go Hornets, right? Orange County High School?
Well, that's where I went to high school, grew up in Orange County.
Yeah.
Lived in Gordonsville, and after graduating high school, went off to college and had some education there. But most of my education came in the field and learning the trade, and then advancing up through that. But my passions and hobbies are centered around my family and my kids. I've got a daughter who's married and educating students in Greene County.
Wow. You're a
So
young
very proud of
man
her.
to have
Oh,
a daughter
absolutely.
married who's a teacher.
Absolutely, we're very proud of that. But and also have 2 boys in high school at Western Albemarle.
Nice.
One's a senior, Carter. We're following them around with sports. Lottie plays on the football team, and Andrew's playing on the basketball team. So they're keeping us very busy and following them around with their athletic pursuits.
John Kajanian, was he at Orange when you were there?
John was one of my coaches.
John's the man, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Huge fan of John Kajanian. You said that most of your time spent with your kids. I know the feeling. Got an 18-month-old. Best, hardest thing ever. Fatherhood and parenthood. Every day, I feel like with my wife and I, she works actively in the business doing payables, receivables, and project management. She probably has a laptop on one knee and our 18-month-old son on the other knee right now,
Oh, yeah.
watching the program. I'm going to get to the house tonight. She said, you could have done 5 things better. Here they are. Welcome to the house, though, honey. She's great. I love you, babe. Throw this to you. A father, a husband, someone who's got to care and support a family.
Yes.
Growing up in a field, going from young guy to shoot, the stuff is hitting the fan. I got kids. To now they're getting into like out of the house. You're going to be soon an empty nester. How about that evolution for you?
It's been a wild ride. I mean, it's been great. My wife has been very supportive of me and my career, and we've been through a lot of, ups and downs, and in work life and personal life, and it's just been good to have a supportive, network around me with my family and friends. But yeah, it's been wonderful to see that change, and then to see. The kids grow up and start to become, young adults and actually, responsible from time to time.
So
We're
you're
still,
saying I
still
have
working
hope.
on that, but you will get there for sure.
Thank you. I need that, Chris, because I feel like we're in the thick. All right, Dick. R.E. Lee & Sons, put it in perspective.
So R.E. Lee & Son is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year.
That's awesome.
Okay, founded in 1939 on a single contract when Bobby Lee came down from Connecticut to build Kenwood on the backside of Monticello Mountain for General Watson. Okay, so over the evolution of the company, most of our work was large estate homes in the beginning, built all across Albemarle County, Farmington, Rugby Road area, you name it. R.E. Lee & Son was involved in a lot of, iconic projects in this town. About 25 years later, there was a shift. We started to do work at the University of Virginia, doing institutional work. And we've worked there basically ever since, okay? Not as much recently as we have in the years earlier on, but there's a lot of projects that have got R.E. Lee & Son's fingerprints all over it. In 1976, for the Queen's visit, R.E. Lee & Son did a total restoration prior to that visit of the rotunda.
Cool.
Okay, and on the opposite end of the lawn at the University of Virginia, we have remodeled, Old Cabell Hall. And we've probably touched a number of the buildings in between and around the lawn. And we've got a great working relationship with the university and the clients that we now work with, okay? Doing their developments in Charlottesville and surrounding areas.
How about your evolution with the company? How'd you start?
Well, I'm actually a retread in R.E. Lee &
Okay.
Son, believe it or not. So after I got out of college, one of the biggest jobs I worked on was the University Replacement Hospital Project. Okay, and that gave me a wealth of knowledge, okay, and also confidence and understanding of, all of the different systems, all of the different structures, how they're built. And things of that nature. So I work locally for a couple of contractors, work for a large mechanical contractor out of the valley, and we were working together with R.E. Lee and Son on a large addition to Martha Jefferson Hospital at the time. And after that was done, they came to me and offered me an opportunity to go to work for them as a project manager. So I worked with them for 3 years as a project manager, and then went and worked for a private developer for a while. And it was time to find something new and different, and I came back in 2011 to R.E. Lee as a vice president of business development. So I did that for a while, and then there was a change in leadership in R.E. Lee and Son, and I have had the opportunity to move up into the president's role.
Fantastic. Good answer right there. I want to get a similar answer from Chris. I'm seeing a pretty impressive resume. President of Piedmont Plaster and Drywall, president of Piedmont Concrete Contractors. You put in perspective your growth. You said you learned boots on the street.
That's right.
From the ground up.
Yes. I was fortunate, my father was a project superintendent for R.E. Lee and Son for many years, managing many of their, high-profile projects in Charlottesville. And, to be able to learn from him, and he's still with us today. He's still working and actually starting to help do some instruction in our newly formed apprenticeship program. But to learn from, your father, who on, breaks and vacations, there wasn't a lot of downtime. I was actually working and learning a trade with him on R.E. Lee's job sites. Started as a laborer.
What's a laborer?
A laborer. So basically you're just kind of a go-getter, doing what's needed, cleaning up after the crews, digging ditches, doing whatever is necessary on a job to assist the skilled craftsmen. So started in the field doing that, worked my way into carpentry, had some ability to do some pretty neat projects, with some cool architectural features, Moravian locks and period hardware, and got to experience some neat things with that. And then eventually got the opportunity to move into as assistant project management. Moved into project manager after that, worked in project management for about 13 years with R.E. Lee. And then there was an opportunity at that time, after R.E. Lee spun out the trade contractors, R.E. Lee, or Piedmont Concrete and Piedmont Plaster and Drywall. The president of Piedmont Plaster and Drywall was retiring, and I had the opportunity to move into that role, and have been there ever since, managing Piedmont Plaster and Drywall. And I guess probably in 2012, there was an opportunity to move into they asked me, could I handle both companies and move into that same role for Piedmont Concrete. The companies are very similar in their alignment, and it seemed to be a pretty easy move. So I took on that challenge, and it's worked out great. Having a great time managing both companies and seeing what we've been able to accomplish.
I'd love to hear a good father-son story. Was there a time that comes to mind where your dad was like maybe extra hard on you?
Well, yes. So we had there were a couple harsh winters in Charlottesville. We were building their first building out in Fontaine Research Park, and we had ice storm after ice storm. So for several weeks straight, I was on the roof with a heavy digging bar, just breaking up large chunks of ice and
Really?
tossing them over the side of the building, trying to get the ice off the building so they could put a roof on and dry it in and move the construction along. So it wasn't a fun job, but it was, had to be done. So, I drew that straw.
Is that a straw that was drawn strategically by your dad for you?
Probably. He probably, thought it built character, and so found myself in that position often.
Iconic projects that you guys have done. You've touched on a couple. I'm sure we talked with Dr. Charles Hurt, and Dr. Charles Hurt of Virginia Land Company. He told me one time, he goes, Jerry, you cannot pull into Albemarle County or you cannot exit Albemarle County without seeing property that I own. I would imagine, Ari Lee and Son, that you can't really drive around a lot of aspects of Charlottesville or Albemarle without seeing a project you guys have done. Can you put some iconic ones into perspective that the viewers will know?
You know, simple ones around the University of Virginia have, like I said, with both ends of the lawn. You know, Old Cabell Hall, the Rotunda. We've touched a lot of fraternities and sororities in renovating them over the years at the university. When we get outside of the university's realm, the building Chris was talking about at Fontaine Research Park, it used to be called Health Services Foundation. And so now it's a new rehab hospital, as I understand they're getting to do it. You know, the vascular surgery center we touched. We've touched the replacement hospital project in a number of different fashions. Even recently, where both R.E. Lee and Son and Chris's two companies are working over there. So we're part of the enabling phase of that project for the work that Ari Lee has done, and then Chris is working for Skanska over there, both concrete and the plaster and drywall. As we kind of spread out outside of that area, you look at, you know, Barracks Road Shopping Center. Although we didn't build it, we've surely renovated a number of the stores within Barracks Road Shopping Center. We built Royal Hill Shopping Center.
Wow.
So, you know, the new one in town, Stonefield, although we didn't build that, we did a lot of tenant upfit. And then now, with the new owners, we're working out there on a bunch of different projects, getting ready to break ground here in early next month for a new bank shell building that's headed out in that general direction. You know, we did the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. We go all the way up to Culpeper and have worked a couple of projects for Euro Composites that make a special product, a honeycomb product that's used in the airplane industry.
Cool.
We built Swift up there, and they're part of the financial industry. We've built a lot of doctors and dentist offices here in town. You know, the list goes on and on. As we're celebrating our 80th anniversary, one of the things we're doing is we've developed our own Monopoly game. So now it's called Leopoly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And,
really?
you know,
The buildings that you've done on the board?
the names of the projects are on the board.
That's cool.
Yep, and we'll be going out, you know, towards the latter, in the next month or so, probably visiting owners and handing them copies and thanking them for allowing us to be part of their, you know, project and what they've done.
That's a very unique branding strategy that I think is going to be very well received by your clients.
Yeah,
I think that is so clever.
We think so too. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Let's throw this to you. You 50 plus years in Charlottesville.
Yes.
I'm torn on this topic. Okay, we as an advertising agency, we love and as someone who owns some real estate downtown, I love seeing Charlottesville boom from the businessman's mindset. Right. I love seeing the economy go forward. I love seeing people coming into the community, whether it's like my in-laws from Long Island, Yankees, coming down to Charlottesville. They got some deep pockets because they sold a home up in New York, and they can get double the house here for 30% less. So the businessman in me loves it. The father and the person who's been here 19 years doesn't love it as much. You know, you notice the traffic is picked up, and traffic is relative compared to Northern Virginia. It's obviously relative. But you notice traffic is picked up, taxes, real estate taxes, astronomical, meals tax, astronomical. How do you stand on this topic here, Dick?
You know, I'm a proponent for growth. So, you know, my wife calls Charlottesville Pleasantville. Okay, she's from upstate New York. And, you know, we've adapted to it, those of us that have been here for as long as we have. You know, we don't like some of the aspects of it, but, you know, realistically, it's just part of growth. It's part of things evolving.
You're totally right. Chris, let me throw this to you here. Standing Fuel, welcome to the program. The automotive titan watching the show right now. You got folks at the CVille Weekly, NBC 29, and Daily Progress tuning into the show. How about what are some of your favorite aspects of what you do? You know, my least favorite aspect of what I do, and I think Judah, he and I have worked together for 7 years, managing people. I love everything else that I do.
Yeah.
Managing people, and I think it's because I have unreasonable expectations. I know it's difficult for a team member to have the same mindset as, say, like a president or an owner.
Yeah.
Even though I want that. What are your most favorite, and least favorite aspects of what you do?
So the most favorite is this seeing what we can accomplish. You know, part of the what's been nice about managing these two companies is that, one, they were brought up in a professional organization, and a lot of the guys that were once, members of RE Lee or employees of RE Lee have moved into other companies, into the trade companies, and those skills have come with them. And so to be able to put that to work in the respective trades and seeing what we can accomplish, because, our companies are highly skilled. The projects they work on are very complex. And then to be able to look at those projects and see how we've gone out there and attacked them, put out a quality product and done it, very timely and worked well with our client is very, satisfying to me. So kind of giving that, giving the ball to those guys and letting them run with it. We've got some talented people, and they can do just about anything we ask them to do. So that's extremely satisfying and rewarding to see what they accomplish. The tough part a lot of times, is getting down you've got to spend a lot of time nurturing and developing people. Filling that bench, as you would say, and finding qualified talent. When there's a lack of qualified talent, we're finding now, which there is in the industry as a whole, is how do we overcome that? And that's through education and training. And so we've kind of dug in and put in some work and created our own apprenticeship program, and,
Nice.
and that's where we're starting from the ground up there, and it is
That's
hard.
smart.
It's necessary. But it's very difficult for guys that have been in construction their life. They know it. They expect guys to come out on a job site and be able to just pick up a hammer or whatever tool is necessary and go to work and have the same results that they do, or same work ethic. And it's different. I mean, you just have to take some time. We have to approach it differently now to try to mentor people and bring them along, let them know that construction is a viable career. It's a rewarding career, and they can make a handsome, salary and be able to take care of their families in construction. It's always been good for me, and I think it's even more rewarding today for people getting into the industry.
Donna Casella, welcome to the program. Thank you for watching. Mark Wogman's watching. Tyler Berry, Ray Cadell and Associates, he's watching. Leslie Gourdet, former soccer coach at Western Albemarle, watching the program right now. How about this mindset? I feel like the mindset needs to change from so many millennials and the generation after millennial have, whether it's society or parents or America, are drilling in college, go find job. But a lot of times what's happening is folks are going to college, coming out $100K plus in debt because tuition's so expensive, and then they're working a job where it's going to take them forever to pay off that debt. And that's why one of the reasons we see this missing middle in the real estate market with millennials, and why they're not buying homes as quickly as they once did, is because they're still paying off student debt. Well, I'm going to throw this to you, is the mindset of learning a trade outside of high school, getting paid quicker, starting that vertical climb up the professional ladder quicker, and not accruing 100K plus debt in tuition. That topic to you.
Right. Yeah, it's a hot topic, but certainly it needs to be discussed. And one of the things that
Are you torn on that as a dad and as someone who works in the
I am.
industry?
I believe college is important.
Uh-huh.
But it's not for everybody.
Right.
I am fully, would like my kids all to go to college, complete their degree, and get that experience. But there's, again, it's not for everybody. There's a huge population segment that, they're perfectly willing and have the skills and able to go out and build a career, a very successful career. And what we're seeing now too is that just the amount of jobs that are available out there. So the competition with college graduates coming back and trying to find a job, that is equivalent to the degree that they've achieved is very difficult.
It's tough.
And you're finding people
Yeah.
that are now, they're having to take other jobs that are not there, not at that level.
Yeah.
Where possibly they could have gone in and into the trade and worked their way up. It does take some hard work, and it does take time, and that they learn along their way. But there certainly are opportunities in construction and even other trades and other fields similar to construction that have lots of opportunity. And so we're focusing more on providing that path to be able to find a spot to go to work and build your career. We're working with the associations like AGC of Virginia to help promote that, to help promote the trades. They can look at buildyourfuture.org, and someone can go online there and look at the different trades available, what they make, starting out and what they're able to achieve. And it's surprising to a lot of people. We need good qualified craftsmen and people coming into the industry, and it can be very rewarding.
Kent Bunch has given you some props right now.
Oh, great! Yeah,
Kent Bunch is watching.
Very well.
Dick, talk to us about what a president does. R.E. Lee and Son. What is the president of R.E. Lee and Son doing from a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis,
And I'm going to put you in front of 250,000 people here.
that's okay. So on a day-to-day basis, my day is spent with operations, with the other project managers, with the superintendents out in the field. Okay, it's spent marketing. The company, meeting and greeting people, setting up times to get out and just tell R.E. Lee's story. A lot of the things that we do are also looking at initiatives to, how we can make the company better. What direction are we best suited to be going in as we think about, the future, okay? We always are trying to find opportunities also, as Chris was saying earlier, to grow our people. People is a big part of our company, as they are of any business, and we need to be in front of them and listening to them, taking their ideas, and seeing how they stick to the wall. And when they stick to the wall, make sure we thank them for what they bring forward to us. I think we're really the head cheerleader of the business.
Would you say you're a good-looking head cheerleader?
Yeah, if you like a 60-year-old bald man, sure.
Throw this to you, Dick. You really have a passion for the company. Like when you talk about R.E. Lee and Son, your eyes smile and light up. I can tell you really are genuinely and authentically really an ambassador for the brand.
Well, I appreciate that. I love what I do. I love the opportunity that's in front of me, okay? I love this business. When I was growing up, when you talk about kids going to college and things like that, I fell in love with the idea of going to school and making a lot of money and having a briefcase and having somebody drive me around town. And I realized that wasn't me. What I like, what I get the opportunity to do.
You like the people, don't you?
I like the people, but I also really like the accomplishment, okay? it's great to drive around town and kind of show off a little bit when you've got friends in and, say, we built that or we built this and, we touched that, and there's a lot of great satisfaction to it. And the fact that you're not tied behind a desk all the time also in the building industry is really a lot of fun. Because you get out there, you're greeting people, whether they're your people in the field or they're the people you're going to work with, and you get the opportunity to sell, and which is a lot of fun.
I love it. Chris, let's get you in the mix. Day to day for you.
Oh, gosh.
But your days are completely different, right? Depending on what's going on.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of different things that pop up from day to day. And managing two companies, it's hard to, you can't be in too many places at one time.
Sure.
So it's
When do you get to work?
A lot of moving around. So, not too early. I've got the guys, the field generals that are out there on the jobs, but, I'm in there, 8 o'clock in the morning, but, working well past, the evening hours, 5 o'clock, sometimes working at home. A lot of times it's, preparing and looking ahead. My biggest job is to keep the opportunities in front of the company, working on maintaining a healthy backlog, building the relationships with our clients, making sure our quality and our performance is up to par. So it's staying in touch with that. But it's, the guys, again, we've talked about the tradesmen and the craftsmen that we've had and that have been with us for many years. And they're all extremely talented. So that part of the job is fairly easy. You're keeping in touch with them, but it's nurturing and bringing in new talent, assisting project managers with issues when they do come up. I definitely have the open door policy, and everybody's in and out of the office all day long. Sometimes you have to get off site to try to get some things accomplished, but for the most part, it's a great office environment, great thing to be a part of.
We have the office at Nest Realty downtown watching now. We have folks at Roy Wheeler, Real Estate 3, Long and Foster, and Keller Williams watching you guys right now. As a dad, my perspective on everything has changed since my son was born 18 months ago. I, similar to you, 11 years in of doing this business, launched it in 2008 in a recession out of a bachelor-infested condo that is now a rental property. Like, literally, I was getting the Marina Ringstroms of the world to try to come into my condo when there was, like, a case of natural light over there, and my dog was barking up a storm, but somehow I managed to get the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under promise and over deliver.
Yep.
Here's where I'm going to go with this. My son, 18 months ago, came into our life, changed the perspective, where I was only focused pretty much on grinding, on working, going 80, 90 hours a week, trying to get the dream of what you were saying as well. Now, what I'm looking for is, I just want a great life for him and my wife. And I want him to, turn into a better version of us and have, the world be his oyster, where he has the options he wants. Throw that to you. You mentioned already in the show, Orange County. Now you're living in Western.
Correct.
I'm sure you were thinking maybe from a school standpoint with your 3 kids. Western's a slice of heaven.
Yeah.
Do you think about man, look at how my kids are growing up now?
Oh, absolutely. They're in a different environment, a different world.
Than how you grew up.
Than how we grew up. Yeah, definitely very connected. The Old Trail community and the surrounding communities are all very tightly knit. We've been there, since 2001, and seen a lot of growth over that
in
time.
Old Trail?
Not in Old Trail. We were across the street in Jarman's Gap.
Okay.
But we've seen,
seen it boom.
A lot of growth, a lot of changes in Crozet and the surrounding areas, and I've seen the growth in Charlottesville, and it's just been great to see. It's neat to see the kids and how they commingle, and they are friends with kids at the neighboring high schools, and Charlottesville and Albemarle and Monticello. They're all friends because of the other components that they experience as they grow up in Charlottesville. and they all cross paths and develop relationships and see that. So it's been very rewarding to do that. You talked about the challenge with the expense of living in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. It is tough to do that, and we try to we're trying to bring our employees up and provide good benefits and good pay for them so that they can afford to live close by, and if not in Charlottesville and the surrounding areas, and be able to get to work and provide that same opportunities for their children. But it certainly is rewarding to see what they're able to experience growing up, and I think they've got a good opportunity in front of them to be very successful.
I agree. Dick, throw this to you. You said 50 plus years in Charlottesville. Lacrosse means a lot to you. How'd you get into that game? Was it your kids playing the sport?
No, it was my father.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
So my father grew up on Long Island.
Okay.
Up in
My wife's
Nassau.
from Long Island.
Okay.
She's there right now.
Well, hopefully she's having a great time. It's a nice place to visit.
I agree.
But my father was a really good lacrosse player growing up there, and he got a scholarship and played at Rutgers. And, their passion, kind of they share it with you as you're a child. It's a fun sport. It takes in a lot of different aspects of all of the sports out there, running, the hand-eye coordination and things like that. And we've always had a good time with it. So I played in high school. I played in college on a club team. And then I officiated lacrosse in the community afterwards. And when my son was born, I did the same thing my dad did to me. I put a stick in his hand, and he got the opportunity to play, and he played in middle school and high school, played in college for a year, and decided, I need to go to school instead of, playing sports, which was a good thing for him. But, as he was growing up, you did the things that you really enjoyed doing, and you got involved with the community. So, I was part of the U.S. Lacrosse Board.
Nice.
Locally. I was part of the youth boys lacrosse organization that was set up in the middle school league for a while. So it's always great to find something that you enjoy and that you can give back to.
50 plus years in Charlottesville. Any businesses when you first arrived here that you're still patronizing now?
Wow, all of them. Some of them have actually gone out of business. When you look at the old Leggett Shopping Center, I don't think people will remember that, or the hardware store that used to be downtown on the mall.
Right.
That then moved out into the county, and that probably wasn't the smartest thing for them. But, there's a lot of family businesses that we still are loyal to, that we grew up with. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply is
It's a great one. High Street?
Yep, down on High Street. John Vermillion for a long time. So it's interesting. We see a lot of new stores and a lot of new things happen to Charlottesville, and they're good. Okay, it's kept probably money in Charlottesville that was actually leaving because we didn't have opportunities that people wanted. So they would go to Richmond or other places to shop and things like that.
What do you think Charlottesville's missing? We have a lot of folks on the show. We have a lot of folks asking for like a proper convention center. And I feel like I know a company that would build that, Ari Lee and Son. But like a convention center that can host like 400 or 500 people, and then you can get the Fortune 100, Fortune 500 businesses coming here for retreats.
So Charlottesville doesn't have a large convention center. There's the Boar's Head, and, we built the pavilion out there, so I'm proud to say that. And it can host 200-300 people for gatherings out there. But we don't have a convention center. We've got a ton of hotels, and the university needs them. This is an attraction. This town is an attraction. Everything that we have that has come in the last years, the breweries, the winery, but just the scenery, the history that's here. Those are really important to the community. What people say, hey, what's missing? Not to be simple-minded or anything like that, but everybody says, how come, we can't get a Red Lobster, or not Red Lobster, what is it, the Olive Garden?
The Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden, I've heard that story for 20 years.
Why does everyone want the darn Olive Garden here?
Who knows,
That is so true. That is what everybody asks. There's so many good Italian restaurants.
Yep.
In
There
Charlottesville.
really are.
Chris, how have you seen Charlottesville and Central Virginia change in your time?
Oh gosh. Well, there's certainly been a lot of growth. I've seen the university go through a lot of growth, and from their boom. A while back we were doing a lot of work on the South Lawn project at UVA. Renovated the old Cabell Hall or new Cabell Hall. So we've seen a lot of change with the university, and they're a huge driver of the economy here and employment in this region. So I think that's been a big thing to be a part of, and we really enjoy that. We love to see that type of growth and the type of work that my businesses do. And so we've seen growth at a lot of the Virginia institutions as well. So JMU and their growth, we're currently working on the JMU Convention Center or Convocation Center, the basketball arena. We've done a lot of work at Liberty University on that football stadium expansion, their School of Business, and a few other dorm projects out there. But in Charlottesville, I just think that the community growing, like I said, the opportunity for the kids and the businesses here seems to be as good as it's ever been. I don't mind the growth and the new restaurants. We do have a lot of selection here.
It's nice for us.
It is. It
Yeah,
certainly
the
is.
cream rises to the top.
Absolutely. I'd like to see a few more pop up in Crozet. Have a little more selection there, and not have to drive as far. But
Where are you going? Far Downers?
Far Downers,
I love Far
Crozet
Downers.
Pizza.
Yeah.
The Poorhouse there.
You remember the old Uncle Charlie's?
I do.
Yeah, I
Yes,
spent a lot of time at Uncle Charlie's.
That's right. So, but the downtown Crozet scene, I think, is prime for some good change there and good opportunities. And we've got the Smoked and the rooftop there as well, which are also nice. And then, of course, the 151 and PRN and those guys. So I'm throwing pitches out for
I love
everybody
it.
there. But,
I love it. I'm super
but we do
stoked
love
for
it.
you guys in Crozet with Frank Stoner's property. The
Yes.
Lumberyard project.
Yes.
The new downtown plaza. And he just did the joint venture with Albemarle County with some tax sharing to incentivize the project. I think that's going to kill it for Crozet.
Yeah. We're very excited and like a lot of opportunity there. But it's just, now it's our home. We've been there for, a long time now, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
How about challenges do you think Charlottesville faces, Dick? One of the things that I was most proud of with this business is roughly, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit, roughly 6 months ago, this gentleman over here, Judah, purchased his home. Got a 3-bedroom, got a 2-bath right on the city-county line. And I love to see the team members have personal growth and success. Challenges that Charlottesville has, one of them I think undoubtedly is cost of living, affordable housing. I think it's over 70% of employees that work for the city of Charlottesville cannot afford to live in the city of Charlottesville. And that's certainly the case for teachers and EMTs, policemen, choosing to live in a lot of times in Waynesboro and then make the commute. Challenges you've seen with your experience and perspective.
Well, I think you hit on the number one challenge that this whole community has. It's expensive to live here. And, single income households have a hard time finding places to live, nice places to live, places they can be proud of. And so they leave the area, and, they go to the outlying counties to find opportunities. And one of the other challenges that I see in Charlottesville is really this issue of the university growing and some fracturing that occurs because of it. okay?
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's autonomous in a lot of ways, okay? When it does its own development, it's doing development without the purview of the county or the city, okay, that it's surrounded and part of. They have guidelines, yes, they have to follow. But the university also needs to be a better steward, and I think they're trying to do that as you look at some of the changes that they've come up with in the last few years. The living wage, I think, is a great opportunity.
President Ryan's making some moves.
He is making some moves. Yeah, he really is.
Do you see, is it good that Charlottesville essentially turning into the city of UVA as opposed to the city of CVille? And UVA is undoubtedly great for our community. I mean, I went to UVA.
Mm-hmm.
I started in 2000. I knew I was going to stay here in Charlottesville. I fell in love with Charlottesville. And a number of other alumni are doing the same. And they're gaining this education, and then they're starting businesses. And they're creating jobs. Is it good that we turn into the city of UVA instead of the city of Charlottesville?
I wouldn't say we're the city of UVA in that regards, because we're the city of opportunity.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, there's a lot of opportunity in this city, and it's the things that you just brought up. There's a lot of people that have come here, fallen in love, okay, and have great ideas and have taken those ideas and turned them into something tangible as, businesses, and therefore they're giving back to this community and stuff like that. Just look at all of the little startups that have popped up over the years that have populate downtown and the space that they take, and that they are grow and get sold or to larger businesses, and the growth that it creates. I mean, that's a good thing.
What do you think, Chris?
I'd agree. I mean, I don't think that Charlottesville is defined by UVA, although it's, I think they're joined, from its beginning, when Thomas Jefferson built his home here. And so I think that, they're benefiting from the university. I think the university is benefiting from Charlottesville and the growth that happens, and the people that are staying here, and the love that's in the community. People come back to Charlottesville, after leaving and going out and experiencing things because it's so great. I think that the downtown area is thriving. I don't get to do as many projects here in that private sector as much, but we do enjoy it when we are able to work with a local business and be a part of their projects. But the more of that happening downtown, and the revitalization, Monticello Dairy is one which we are actually.
Awesome. You guys are a part of that project?
Yeah, we're doing the concrete on that one.
Nice.
So, and
we've had Chris Henry on the show.
It's been an awesome.
He's a visionary
project. Yeah. So
I got to ask you about that. Isn't that going to be amazing?
It is. So I think it's kind of modeled after the Chelsea market.
That's right. Yeah, food hall.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're really excited for that, and very proud to be a part of that project, and part of those types of projects in downtown Charlottesville.
Are you pitching that work?
Am I pitching it for
trying to lock up the deal?
Oh, well, we had the first phase, so we're nearing completion on the first phase, and we're hoping to get some more of that. But it's been great for our guys to have local work and something close to home.
That's awesome. I'm super pumped for Dairy Market and Dairy Central. I think it's really going to create this fabulous anchor in that 10th and Page, Preston Avenue corridor. And I think, it's 1819 food stalls. We're going to have retail. It's going to be a food hall. We're going to have some high-end living.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Stony Point and Chris, they do fantastic work and have a good vision. How about, let me get a good, every time I talk with somebody, I love the history of Charlottesville. And every time I talk with somebody who has history like you do in the community, I always try to pull out a good, Charlottesville historical story. Whether that's changes you've seen, whether it's a good story about a place that you patronized, you ate, you enjoyed, you shopped at. Something that people that are watching the show, like Amanda Terplowski, like Ray Jordan, like Jeff Gaffney, would appreciate. Give me a good Charlottesville story, Dick.
Well, this goes way back when.
I knew we would have one.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not plugging my friends at Roy Wheeler, but David Callahan and I were really good friends. And when I was growing up as a child, and I remember Roy Wheeler when they were downtown, and instead of having green grass in front of their business, they had poured concrete and painted it green, so they didn't have to mow the grass, which I thought was interesting. But I like my friends there. I like all my friends in the real estate business. There's a lot of places that we go to, now that are new, that we enjoy going to, like, Burton's and things like that. And we really liked Trevinia's, and, we're sorry to see them have come and gone. Some of the older restaurants, Vivace and the C&O and places like that, are special. Some people probably in this town don't remember the old nightclub that was part of the
Ooh, I don't
C&O
remember
restaurant.
that. Tell me that.
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
They've always had some great bands there. And, growing up when I was in school on the other side of the mountain at JMU, we used to come back every now and then on Friday or Monday nights it was, and go to the old mine shaft. Well, Emmy Lou Harris and others used to come to town, and the Nighthawks and people like that. And there was a great music scene in this town, and there still is. The Pavilion is fantastic. It has done wonders for this community. It gives people the opportunity to come together. It's a great place to meet and greet friends, have a good time, and then, catch dinner afterwards or go on your own way afterwards.
Well said. Well said. That's a good stopping point. You guys have filled 55 minutes and made this easy. Easy. Dick, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
We really
Chris,
do
thanks for coming
appreciate
on.
it.
Thank you for having us.
I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know these two gentlemen. Guys, we will archive today's show in totality on ilovecville.com. We will turn it into a podcast on Apple iTunes, so you can listen through this device. We'll do both by COB today. Then we'll take today's show and we'll syndicate it for 30 days across the I Love CVille network, which is 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, an e-newsletter that goes out to over 108,000 email inboxes, ilovecville.com, the iTunes podcast, and our Instagram. We reach a little over 250,000 people, and we try to spotlight companies and individuals that are making the community better. And I think Ari Lee and Son is certainly doing that. I think Chris, with what he's doing with Piedmont Plaster and Drywall and Piedmont Concrete Contractors, are doing that. I'm super pumped for Dairy Market and Dairy Central to open spring 2020. We've had now one of the gentlemen that works on the development, and Chris. We've had Chris Henry on the show as well, and we've had Tom Bowe of Take It Away Sandwich Shop, who's going to have a stall there. Angelique Jenkins from Angelique's Kitchen, who's going to have a stall there. So we're just trying to spotlight people that are doing positive things in the community on this program. We will come back with our animal-focused show, What's Barking Local, powered by Animal Connection at 3:30. And we're going to spotlight all the positive stuff that's happening in the dog and animal community across Charlottesville and Central Virginia. So much content in that category to spotlight. My name is Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show. Enjoy your afternoon. Work, guys.
Cool.
It's easy.
Hey,
Awesome.
thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
That was
You did great.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You did great.
It was a lot of fun.
One more thing we got to do is we got to get your photo.
Okay.
And this is the photo for the hero picture here. We'll do it under this light. Judith will snap that for us. Dick will get you over here in a second.